Hi everyone, welcome to the new semester. So I am going to start the videos on HAP2. The first topic in HAP2 is body fluids. So in syllabus, first unit is body fluids and blood. Today we will discuss about body fluids. Body fluids are broadly classified into extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. The fluid that is present outside the cell is called as extracellular fluid, and the fluid present inside the cell is called as intracellular fluid, whereas the fluid present between the cells is called as interstitial fluid. So our body contains about 60% of water, 18% of proteins, 16% fat and 6% of minerals, etc. And the water content decreases as our age increases. So the percentage of body water varies with our age. The fetus will have 90% of body water. The newborn will have approximately 72 through 80%, whereas a male adult will have 60 to 65% of water. Female adult will have 40 to 50%. And as the age increases, the geriatrics or the elderly people will have around only 40 to 55% of the body water. The flow of body fluids. Whenever we take water, that is rehydrating the body. Giving water to our body is rehydration. So that water is absorbed in the intestine and distributed throughout our body, and it gets filtered in the kidneys, it gets absorbed, it gets eliminated through the kidneys as urine. This is how the body fluids will flow in our body. Composition of body fluids. So the body fluids may contain water and various solids. So solid substances includes the organic and inorganic substances. Organic substances like glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, hormones, various enzymes, all that comes under organic substances. Whereas the inorganic includes the sodium, chlorides, bicarbonates, glucose, fatty acids, oxygen, etc. Whereas the intracellular fluid like potassium, magnesium, phosphate, sulfates and proteins. When coming to the pH of extracellular fluid, it is 7.4, and for the intracellular fluid it is 7. What is the role of body fluids in our body? They help as the transport mechanism. Nothing but the body water will help to transport various nutrients and other substances which are required for the cells and to remove the waste products from the cells. In the same way, it helps for the metabolism process also. So water inside the cells will help for the metabolic reactions so that the growth, normal functions of the cells will be happening in the normal way. And they also help to maintain the proper texture for the cells. So water is present, so that is the reason we are having a proper texture for our tissues and cells. The foremost important thing is because of the water, the temperature is being regulated in our body. So the functions of body fluids, just now we have discussed, they help for the transport, they help for the temperature regulation, and they help to maintain the normal texture of the body, for the metabolism of our body. So these are the functions of the body fluids. Dehydration is excessive loss of water from the body. So why this dehydration happens? In which condition people will experience this dehydration? Normal water loss, loss of water and electrolytes can happen. Excess water loss due to diarrhea, continuous stools, excess of vomiting, severe vomiting condition, excess of sweating due to burning, diabetes, renal diseases, all this may lead to the dehydration. The symptoms of dehydration may be thirst, dry mouth, dry skin, headaches, change in the heartbeat. All these are the symptoms of the dehydration. So what happens is when a person is having loss or insufficient water in our body, the blood volume will be decreased. When the blood volume decreases, the blood pressure will be decreased. Whenever we have decreased blood pressure, in response to that, the angiotensin II will be activated, which will cause increase in the blood pressure, activation of the thirst center, and because of the insufficient water, we will have increased blood osmolarity. which may develop the dry mouth, and the chemoreceptors in the hypothalamus will be activated. So both of this will lead to the activation of thirst center. So we will have increased thirst, we will take water, which will decrease the osmolarity. So we have seen when we have loss of fluid, we call it as dehydration. In the same way, there is a condition where we have excess fluid accumulation in our body, which we could term it as edema, accumulation of excess water or fluid in our body. So this edema develops in the heart failure condition, in renal failure condition, when a person have malnutrition or inflammation of tissues. So this may result in the increased hydrostatic pressure, decreased colloidal osmotic pressure, increased permeability of the capillaries. When the lymphatic system is not working properly, what the lymphatic system will do, it will take excess of fluids from our body. But here, because of the lymphatic system is not functioning properly, we may have accumulation of fluid which results in the edema. And the kidney may be not functioning properly, kidney failure, which may result in the accumulation of fluid, so that our kidney is not excreting the excess of water from the body, which results in the edema.